Hey, Tails. It's what do your friends call you? What do people call you? Because I feel like Tails up for Toronto, that's like a mouthful. Do we call you
Yeah, they
Toronto?
first of all, thanks again for having me again. Yeah, they usually call me Tyranno.
Tyranno. All right.
If or with my I think usually they call me with my RL name because I don't have so much furry friends in
Mm-hmm.
RL. So
Gotcha. So you have a new game in the works. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
yeah, that one I'm definitely going to roast in hell for.
Oh.
I always wanted to make a fighting game, and when I was 16, I wasn't too much into fighting games, but there in the 90s there were quite a few very interesting fighting games. One of them was Primal Rage, which was
Mm.
kind of a Mortal Kombat style game, but with
Mm-hmm.
dinosaurs and monsters. And the idea was just too cool. And I always had the idea to create a fighting game. But however, since I always was afraid that people wouldn't find it appealing, because it's
Mm.
very hard to fighting games have tons of mechanics and combos and stuff, and then sex games go usually into a very different direction. And so I wasn't sure if I ever could come up with a concept, nor if anyone would be interesting. But recently, I was just doing an Unreal tutorial, and while watching it, I searched my old ROM library for some some old games I could play, and I found Primal Rage again.
Mm.
I played it for a while, and I was like, okay, at least I want to give it a try. And so while working on Mutant Alley District, I started working on this fighting game prototype. And when I got to some point that I actually could show something, I really got quite an unexpected amount of positive feedback, and so I kept developing it. And yeah, it's pretty cool. I think people really like the idea. I've got so much more Patreons, and actually I haven't received that much positive feedback in ages. And that's what's really cool, and I'm very hyped to finish this game or get to a beta state.
Okay. Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned Primal Rage. I believe someone did say it even reminded them of Primal Rage. I can definitely understand your concern given the climate of fighting games because there could be a fighting game that could come out and, like the first 2 or 3 weeks, everybody's all in on it. Then I don't know, something happens. Maybe they add a patch and now this one grab doesn't do as much damage as it used to. And then all hell breaks loose. Look at Mortal Kombat, look at Tekken, look at Street Fighter, look at even, I don't know, Virtual Fight, look at all these games. Like they ride on this high and then
Just
they,
because a lot.
yeah, they make a little tweak to one move to where maybe the hitbox is bigger or smaller, or maybe it doesn't make a character fall down anymore. And now all hell breaks loose. It's the worst game in the world. How could they do this? They don't listen to anybody.
Yeah,
But
because these games are also played on esport events. I mean,
mm-hmm,
the motivation to play fighting games is entirely different than
mm-hmm.
for playing porn games. It's really a competition game, and that was actually another thing I was afraid of, because the thing I loved on fighting games, I really liked them when they were fun and easy
Mm-hmm.
to learn. For example, there was a game on Super Nintendo, or I don't what was it called in the I think it was Family Con in the United States. However, there was a game called Turtles Tournament Fighters, which had
Oh.
super awesome, sexy anthropomorphic characters, and it was actually very easy to play. And it wasn't the most complex fighting game, but it was fun. And I wanted to do that. I wanted to do something people can play as casual gamer. And so there, for example, there's not a single combo in the game. You can bind every action to one single button, and I think that really works.
Oh, like
It's not
the
intended for super complex for competitive fighters. I think they would be a bit bored.
Mhm.
But most casual gamers actually they were very how to say, not suspicious. They weren't sure if that game would be something for them, because
Yeah.
they just were like, fighting game, nah, I'm here for the porn games. And I
Mhm.
encouraged them to give it a try, and actually they enjoyed it because they liked that it is easy, and it gives the player empowerment. It feels like you're actually beating up someone, but it's very easy.
Oh, and Turtle Tournament Fighter, you mean like Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighter?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I played that. That was fun.
Yeah. There were like three, I think, three versions for every for the two Nintendo systems, and one for the Mega Drive, and every single game sucked except that for the family.
Yeah, that's the design I like the Ninja Turtles to have. I don't like it when they try to make them all scrawny and stuff. I like it when they're like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
all beefy and stuff. That's what
That was the good old 90s.
I.
Yeah, no, I
Mhm.
really wanted to get this vibe into the game, but I'm just one guy and I'm giving my best, but I think I haven't done too bad. I mean, if I had a pro modeler and a pro animator, I could done way better. But yeah, I'm giving everything to make this as polished as possible. I think the people are currently very satisfied with the quality, but I think I could have done way better if I had a professional animator and modeler. But yeah, I'm trying to give to give the game this 90s 80s character look and game vibe. But yeah,
Mhm.
I'm trying to give my best.
I mean, it looks really good as of right
Yeah,
now. The animations,
could
like, I mean, it could always look better. I mean, it could always
yeah.
look better. But you saying that you did this all by yourself and you wish you had a proper animator, it looks like it was done by a proper animator. So I'm actually a little shocked to hear you say that because it
Yeah,
looks
because
really good.
I spent the last month like playing 3 to 4 hours of Mortal Kombat 11 a day, and carefully observe the mechanics and animations to see what's important, what's not important, and if you really put these games, if you compare them one by one, of course, Mortal Kombat is so beyond anything I could come up with, and it's always a bit frustrating because I know how to do things right, but sometimes you really can't get that quality out of it. For example,
Hmm.
the X-ray shots during the finishers, that would be perfect for an adult game, especially a porn game. But
Hmm.
this is really something I don't have the capacity to do,
Yeah, I
and
know.
that's always a bummer. But
Yeah. I know I saw someone in your Discord saying, would you consider adding like a
yes,
arousal meter? And I think someone else replied and said that's kind of already what the daze meter is. So that would be a bit redundant unless you had a specific character that had that. So it's
mm,
definitely a lot of different things you could play with. But like you're saying, you're only one person. Would you, I mean, you probably have to raise like a lot of money. Would you consider, like, let's say you finish the
absolutely.
game and it sells well and you get a lot of money, would you consider getting a team for a sequel or an expansion?
Actually, I thought about that, but there are really two problems. One is to find someone reliable you can work
True.
on, because
Hmm.
what for a few things like retopologizing my characters, I don't do that anymore, because there are people I can pay for and they do a way
Hmm.
better job, and I can work on other things while they retopologize the meshes.
Hmm.
And I oftentimes try to outsource these things, but even then, it's like people are charging you astronomical amounts of money,
Hmm.
and in the end, you end up getting something absolutely shitty, or
Yeah.
something that you on your own could have done like
Hmm.
12 times better, and or you don't get anything at all.
Yeah.
Also possible, and so that's the first hurdle. And the
Hmm.
second one is you have to find someone who's willing to work on an adult game. You may think that if you pay someone money, they would be willing to work on whatever there is, but no, that's not the case.
Yeah.
People people are actually a lot of pro artists, especially in the gaming industry, refuse to work on such games because they're worried that it will damage their reputation. And if
Hmm.
you ask them to do it anonymously, they say, "But well, then it won't add to my reputation."
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Which I mean, a lot of these
If
people.
I find someone, I'm definitely up for it.
I mean, if we're talking about like AAA gaming or something, I'm like,
Yes.
they've got a lot of stuff that they have their name on that they should be ashamed of.
Hmm.
If I'm being completely
True.
honest.
True. It's also the name of the publisher.
The name of the publisher, whoever are, some of the writers of some of these games, and even some of the animators. I don't know what's going on with some of these games. I'm like, what is going on with your animation team? So
And
let's get into these
I
two
think,
characters you have here.
hmm, three actually.
Oh,
I'm working on the third one.
oh, you are working on a third one. So,
Oh, wait, I can send you. I can send you a picture. It's still very work in progress. Yeah, there we go.
oh,
Yeah, I wanted to have a pit bull in there.
oh, yes.
Yeah, but I'm currently a bit stuck for the outfit. I'm still trying to figure out what looks good on him, and yeah.
Yeah, so I saw in the latest update of the game, you actually added biographies for these characters. Where did those come about?
Yes, a friend of mine whom I know from the old anthropomorphic Victorian mailing list, which was a thing, I think, around the 2000s. He's a writer, and actually he wrote me. I met him in on my Discord channel, and I recognized him. And he's a writer, and I asked him if he could do the biography and the overall game story, and he accepted.
Okay.
His name is Boink the Goat, and I already added him to the credits. So the character biographies are already there, but I also plan to have in an introduction of the game story.
Hmm.
But I want to focus on the content first.
Oh,
I
of
need a few
course.
more characters. I need a few more stage. I also have a few more mechanics I want to add. Yeah, I'm quite busy at the moment. I can't complain about having not enough to work on.
So you've also added taunts. So I
Hmm.
think my question is like, so you say you've got like the overview of the game story. Can you get, I know you probably don't want to give everything away because one, it's still in development, and two, you kind of want people to see, stuff on their own. But like, what is the story? Because one of the taunts, the horse is like shaking his booty. I'm like, okay, now what are we doing here? Like,
Yes, the taunts are just a mechanic that I was asked for a lot of times, and that actually makes sense for a fighting game. So if you want to taunt your character, they really don't do anything. It's just
mm-hmm,
for it's a fun feature. I think it's better. It's best used when you're actually playing against someone else.
mm-hmm.
But I also added. I've modified the NPC enemies so that he will recognize you doing a taunt, and then he will back off or wait until your taunt is done. So it's really just a fun feature.
Oh,
But I think
fun.
it really adds a bit of fun. And maybe it will do more in the future. I'm open for suggestions.
Yeah, I know taunting is I know taunting is such a big thing in fighting games. I think in Super Smash Brothers, if you're playing like online ranked, they disable the taunt feature. So people just kind of subverted that by crouching. So every time someone will
Okay.
fall off the stage and die, you would see the other character just start crouching really quickly as a taunt. They do that in
Okay, it makes sense.
like Dead by Daylight and other stuff. So people find a way to taunt anyway. So I think adding a taunt is just perfect.
Yeah, it was a good idea.
Very
But
good.
it will be available in the, I think it will be build oh 07 alpha. So the next build will have
Oh, okay.
taunts and hopefully already the new character as well.
So I know someone asked if you were adding female characters. What female characters can we expect to see in this game?
I definitely want to add female characters. I think they have to be in there. But
Hmm.
currently, I have to before I can add them, I have to make a few modifications, and I have to find a cool and good-looking female base that I can use and modify. So since I don't have the capacity to animate every character again and again, I have to use
Yeah.
common, and so I only make specialized animations, a few specialized animations for a character, and then use a common pool. And for the females, I would have to build a complete female pool. Probably. I don't know yet. I'm currently actually working on the female base mesh, and I will always do a few modifications from release to release to get me to the point where I can finally add a female character. And I
Hmm.
definitely I have an absolute cool idea for a female character, which will be inspired from Vertigo by Primal Rage, which is a female character in Primal Rage 2.
Oh,
And
okay.
Vertigo is some kind of snake-like feral being that can hypnotize its opponents. And I think for an adult fighting game, there can be pretty good kinky scenarios to yeah, to make them work with such a character. So I
Hmm.
definitely want such a female character.
Yeah, that
But
sounds like
again,
fun.
before I get to that point, I have to make a few modifications and and make a lot of more animations.
Yeah, and it
But
will
maybe
give
I
your
find a
game,
cool way to retarget them.
yeah, give your game broader appeal too. So are they going to be like buff female characters? Like, are they going to have similar builds as the men, or are they going to be like more slender?
I think that wouldn't make sense if they look too
Hmm.
much like the male characters. People wouldn't find that appealing. I mean, there
Hmm.
will be muscular female characters, but I also want this stereotypical sexy female
Hmm.
characters like in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. Although, funnily enough, Mortal Kombat has been toning down the sexiness of the women. Well, okay, I don't personally think so, but a lot of people think so. But I think they just can't take their eyes away from the men with barely any clothes on now these days.
Yeah, I th- I think sex was always incorporated in such games. I mean,
Hmm.
that's a huge selling point.
Yep,
People just don't want to admit it.
very much so. So, the fighting system that you've got here, what made you come about with this kind of daze system? Because I'm trying to
That
think of what I don't think any modern game has added that. There's, I'm sure, some games
Mhm.
back in the day.
And there's a reason for it. I mean, Primal Rage has such a mechanic, but
Hmm.
you just stun your character and then you can simply cast whatever attack you want. There's no shift in the actual mechanics there.
Mm,
But the main reason I added this was I wanted the game to have these sexual grapples, and applying those during the gameplay, like having a grab button and then you can counter grab or stuff like in Mortal Kombat, that would add a complexity to the game.
hmm.
And I was afraid that people wouldn't be it would be too complex for them to actually do, and so
Hmm.
they would just don't want to play the game. So I thought I split this game into a fighting phase, and if you beat up your opponent enough, then you will get stunned, and then you can
Hmm.
do your sexual attack move, and
Hmm.
that seems to work quite well
Yep.
because it's very transparent. You don't have to learn any mechanic. You can simply just play the game. You don't have to take care of combos or stuff. And yeah, I wanted to make the game as simple, playable as possible, and to be as obvious as possible.
Yeah, I really like how it operates like a mid game fatality. And now in this new alpha, you've added like actual
Real, yeah,
real fatalities at the end with the
yeah.
same inputs.
No combo, no combo
Yeah, no
with fire.
combos. Yes. Oh my gosh, that was the most annoying thing about some of the older Mortal
Yes,
Kombat games.
and that was for me, for example, that was oftentimes a showstopper. I really like the feeling of how, for example, of how Mortal Kombat played, but I really don't like the super complex combo system. It was
Hmm.
like learning a new programming language. Uh,
Exactly.
and I don't wanted that. I, wa- I want people to pick that game up and play it without ever play whether they have played a fighting game or not, they just should be able to pick that up and play it and have fun.
Now, this is just like wishful thinking. Do you see people playing this game competitively?
Good question. Currently, I added local multiplayer.
Oh.
So you already can play you already can play in local multiplayer. I
Mm-hmm.
would love to add online multiplayer, but unfortunately, online multiplayer requires a bit more coding. So
Mm-hmm.
this is something I want to add, but it's a bit more down the road
Yeah. Yeah.
because it would no it would make no sense to work on the online multiplayer without having the game being at a point that people actually consider it as a real perceive it as a complete game they actually want to play online.
Mm-hmm. So how many characters are you looking for? Like,
Currently I would like to add 9. I'm not
okay.
but I haven't played them in detail. I know that I wanted a pit bull, and I know that I want a lion and some kind of female hypno character,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm open for everything else. So
Okay.
once I got those down, which I want to have in the game, probably I do a poll or something. Yeah,
And what other stages are you thinking of adding?
yeah. Since I don't model the stages by myself, I purchase them as assets.
Mm-hmm.
I'm currently looking for new finished environments I can use. I would like to add some kind of a medieval village, probably with peasants
Ooh.
watching while you fight. I think that's a super cool idea, but I haven't found a nice environmental asset for that. Probably also an old graveyard or something like. I want to have medieval environments. I think
Mm-hmm.
that really suits the gameplay, but I definitely want a stage where you have people watching the fight.
Yeah, that'd be pretty fun.
Yes, and a village would be perfect for that. I just haven't found a cool environmental asset yet. While working on the new character, I will be quite busy creating his outfit and animating him. But from time to time, I will check on the Pep Store for assets I can use for that stage.
Mm-hmm. Will the characters from any of the books make an appearance?
No, 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 no,
Oh.
absolutely not.
Oh.
I don't want them. I don't want them in this kind of game because they have their own story and timeline.
True.
And yeah,
It would be fun to see them. I understand. So is there?
also
Oh, go ahead.
the models wouldn't work with the rig I'm
I,
using.
I kind of was thinking that because the models in Mutant Alley, their
Yeah,
proportions don't match these models. I
yeah,
was thinking about that. They would have to be like rebuilt.
yeah. But there will be scaly characters for sure.
Yay, scaly
I
characters.
I just don't know which ones yet. Probably the female character could be some kind of snake, anthropomorphic snake character that could work.
So speaking of your books, how is work on your third book coming?
It's actually done and it
Oh,
will be released in April. I'm
oh,
I'm currently waiting for the cover.
okay,
So yeah, it will be out in April.
nice. And how is work on Mutant Alley Districts coming?
For now, since for now I'm currently only working on the fighting game.
Okay.
This doesn't mean that I abandon districts, but I want to get both games to a point where I have something that I can release. And once I have released them both, I will kind of switch my development times from time to time. Let's say for one month I will work on the fighting game, which hasn't even a title yet, and
Mm-hmm.
then the other month I will work on Mutant Alley District. But I think these games will become my main games for the future.
Okay, that's a pretty good idea, I think, because they both can be heavily expanded on,
Yes,
and they both.
and they both require.
Mm-hmm.
I've raised the quality level for both games quite a bit,
Yes.
so they really need more time to work on and to fill them with content than my old games. So
They both have very solid fan bases from both you and me. You know, we made polls to
mhm.
see which of the games people prefer. They both have pretty solid fan bases. So I think
Mhm.
people will definitely be sticking around for either of these games. So the fact that they'll both be your main games, I think is pretty great.
Yeah, and I always wanted to have games that I can just work on and extend. And the problem with the old Mutant Alley title was pretty much that what happened to Unity with their new policy,
Hmm.
and I had to switch engines and everything. Whenever you switch engines, you have to relearn everything, and it it takes quite a few projects until you get good at that engine and know how to use it and when. And I'm
Hmm.
finally at that point, and I think now I've regained that level I was at Unity when I did the first Mutant Alley series. So I've catched up now, and now I'm ready to go with Unreal and those games and push it forward instead of creating new prototypes and trying out new things.
So, what is your release strategy for this game? Because I'm pretty sure itch.io is like a free for all. You can just put whatever on there. You've used itch.io before, but are we planning for a
Yes,
Steam release as well?
absolutely. By the way,
Okay.
by speaking of itch.io, I'm currently having somehow they haven't my payments are on hold for like 2 months,
Oh my
and the support
gosh.
isn't answering and stuff. So maybe someone has experienced that issue, and maybe someone can confirm that that's normal or that it's not normal, or what they did to make itch.io aware of it,
Oh
because
my
I've
goodness.
done pretty much. Yeah, it's not so bad, but it's a bit annoying
Yeah, I'm sure that's
not
very
to know
frustrating.
why it's pending. If it's just taking forever, I'm totally okay with that. But it's like it's on hold and you don't reach anyone, and yeah.
Hmm.
But yes, it will be on. It will the game will be on itch.io for
Okay.
sure, and also on Steam.
Awesome. Awesome.
I mean, of course, it would be cool to bring it to the PlayStation Store, but I think it wouldn't be allowed.
So, what is your, how do I say this? I guess your production outline for the fighting game. Like, where do you see this game this time next year?
This time next year, I would like to have all characters, all
Hmm.
stages, and I definitely think it will be ready for release or even be ready. I mean, it's a lot of work. I don't know what will happen in between because you never know live.
Yeah.
And but I'm really working fast, and I think that's one of my main advantages. I
Yeah.
think if I don't get distracted,
Yeah. You are
I,
a incredibly fast worker because, like I said, most developers, oh my gosh, especially if it's just one person,
mm,
they wouldn't have gotten this far within the first year. Because how long have
yeah,
you?
I know.
Yeah, how long have you had this first alpha out? Like the one before this one that you've released to the
Um,
public?
I started working on the game in I think the beginning of December.
That's insane.
But the thing is, Unreal is just perfect for creating games very fast. And also, man, I'm doing like animations for over 10 years.
That's true.
I can I did like don't know how many animations are in there, but it's almost 80 or so. I think 80
Okay.
animations currently.
So yeah, you've got your experience behind you too. You're not just fresh
Yeah.
into this whole anime thing. Still though, that's impressive. You
Yes.
just started working on this in
But
December. Wow.
yeah, but that also makes means that my production pipeline is very prone to disruption
Mhm.
if you will for example when I switched to Unity I had to reinvent my entire production pipeline, and
Mhm.
so if things are like this and no company is canceling their software or something, then
Mhm.
everything should be fine.
Yeah, that's
But for
true.
example, ZBrush, I'm using a very old version of ZBrush that might be an issue. Hopefully not, but yeah, well.
Now, because you are so good at making models, I can't remember. Did you ever do?
I'm not good. I mean, there are people. I frequently watch the models of my fellow artists, and when I look at my stuff, I actually want to hide under a table. It
Aw.
actually hurts. I mean, I'm probably not bad, but I'm not super good. And when I see what other people can do, I'm always like, oh man, you worked so hard on the game, and it looks okay with your models, but if you had that or that guy, how awesome could that game look? I'm always like that. But I think that a lot of artists feel that way.
That's how you know you're a true artist. You always
I wouldn't go that far, but
look on the outside. The grass is always greener on the outside. Meanwhile, people are
true,
looking at
true.
you feeling the same way. All right. So anything else you want to share with us about the game, or just any of your, I know you said these are now your two main projects, Mutant Alley and
Mm.
the fighting game. I believe, was it called Roar
Yeah,
at one point?
that's a good question. Graw, but it was just work, or it is just a working title. I
Hmm.
haven't found a good name for the game yet. It's the project still named Furry Fighting Game.
Okay.
I want to find I want to find a cool title that sounds like one of the classical '90s fighting
Oh, yeah.
games, but it's like it's almost impossible. I mean, I tried to come up with a name using ChatGPT for like 2 hours, and I
Yeah.
asked people, and if some if I'm not I'm very sure I can finish this game and make it a great and enjoyable game. But I'm not sure if I can ever come up with a title for it. It's probably the hardest thing ever.
You could always ask your community. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I did that. I really tried everything. But if someone is out there and listening to this and has like the cool title, then please help me out.
But yeah, finally, you got two main games you're working on, and they both look great.
Yeah, thanks to Unreal Engine. And finally I have a game that's not Mutant Alley related. I think that
Hmm.
was something I was very yeah, not ashamed, but also not fond of. Like I use my T-Rex and Raptor character for like the last 2 years for
Hmm.
game. Yeah.
Yeah, you want to expand yourself. I feel like
Yes.
every creative wants to expand beyond just,
Mm.
the reptile can be your mascot for sure, but you want to expand beyond just the reptile character, as sexy as he is. You want
Yeah.
to show people that, you can do a lot of things. You could have a whole umbrella over a whole franchise if you want.
Mhm. Yes, and I think that way it's also more interesting for people because
Hmm.
I think a lot of people would probably support me on Patreon if I did more mammals, which I do
Hmm.
now.
You
Yeah.
do.
Let's see how it works out,
Yeah, it seems to be going good
and if
so
I
far.
will ever find a name.
All right. So, is there anything else you wanted to tell us?
Actually, nothing I could think of. We pretty much covered almost everything. No, I think we pretty much covered
Hmm.
everything. Maybe just one more thing. If you like, you can post the Discord link for my fighting game. So if people,
Of course.
I'm always looking for ideas and want to hear what people want to see in that game. And if that is something I can make, then I will add it right away. But it's really important for me to get input from the people that are
Hmm.
interested in that project. So that might be a thing.
Okay. So, yeah, the Discord link, everybody, for the fighting game will be in the pinned comment section. But yeah, I think you've got something really great going on here. And I can't wait to see the next alpha and then eventually the
Hmm.
beta and then the full release. And we'll see what happens. Who knows? You might have a tournament fighter on your hands.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. But I think it's quite too adult for most esport competitions.
True. So maybe someone will just have to make another kind of competition. You never know
Yeah,
these days. People are doing.
maybe at a FurCon.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe at like a fur con. Oh, wouldn't that
That might be an idea.
be really
I don't know
exciting?
if I will ever attend another FurCon, but maybe that would be a reason to reconsider it.
Hmm. All right, everyone. So this is Tyranno. Y'all know him. He's made some great games. If y'all have any questions, go on to his Discord and, just give any questions, comments, concerns, whatever you have about the fighting game. Or even, I believe you have a section for Mutant Alley there too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So even if you just want to talk about Mutant Alley, you can do that all on his Discord. Well, Tyranno, thank you so much for talking with us.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.